campers. So we're going to talk about how do we heal today. My recipe, my steps, how do we heal? And I often get asked that because on this channel and obviously around the internet, you keep hearing you have to heal, you have to address certain wounds, you have to, do shadow work. But how do we actually heal? What do I do, right? So if you're new at this, or you're still struggling to find your routine, I'm gonna give you my recipe. This is how I healed, and this is the program and steps that I truly believe in, right? That they will work. And if you apply these steps, you will get where you need to be, to that place of inner peace, to that place of truly light, right? Your soul. So step number one, and I'm going to say this, is shadow work. Is shadow work. I believe that without shadow work, without diving into your core wounds, your shadows, your traumas, and really understanding them, talking about them, connecting them to certain emotions and patterns that you're going through, you're never going to address root cause. You're only going to be scratching the surface. You have to go deep. So for me, the best way, knowing people, working with people, being a shadow worker, is to actually get a shadow worker. Why? I've addressed this in one of my previous channeled messages about 3 key blockers when it comes to healing, and one of these blockers is denial and is lack of consistency. And I see this in many people, even those who want to heal, even those who want to embark on a journey of healing and shadow work, because it's a nature of our armor, right? And I say this to you guys all the time, our shadows disguise themselves as light, and they wrap themselves in denial. So whatever you're gonna maybe hear that it might be an issue, your subconscious mind, to protect you, will be telling you, no, it's okay, it's just how you are, everyone is like that, it's no worries, you don't have to address that, right? So you really have to roll up your sleeves and start that journey of shadow work. And if you work with shadow worker, this person will not only hold you accountable, but they will be able to give you exercises, tips, advice, open questions to consider, to really go deeper, right? So to me, consistent work with a shadow worker is a must. How do you choose your shadow worker? You will know who resonates with you. And I've done a video quite a long time ago, a couple of months ago, a channel message, how to really know who should we listen to online and who should we work with. I think you can still find it on my YouTube if you go to channel messages or healing playlist. I was like wearing a blue pajama because Spirit woke me up for that. It was important. So I explain how to really, choose your shadow worker, because it has to be a person that you trust, that you can be vulnerable with, and obviously that you have that you like this person, right? You cannot work with someone, however, whatever tools they're going to use, you have to have trust and that, liking feelings towards this person, because you will have to open up slowly. You will have to be vulnerable, right? So you have to look at this person in a sense of, they are where I want to be, and I trust they're going to get me there, okay? And when it comes to type of shadow worker, it really depends on you. So you may want to go for someone who's a psychic medium and a reader like myself, right? And I also do energy work, spiritual healer. You may resonate more with someone who is more of a coach, right? And when we talk about spirituality, spiritual coaches, they still will have all their clairs. They should have all their clairs activated. So if that kind of work is something that you resonate more, you can go for that. You can go for therapy, right? Whether that's a therapist that is spiritual, or it's a regular sort of a matrix therapist. It's whatever you resonate with, but someone who knows what they're doing and someone who will hold you accountable, and they will help you to establish that routine and that program to walk you through this, right? So we can start, for me, when I work with people, I usually recommend from every between 2, 3, 4 weeks a session, depends on where you are and how are you feeling. And remember, your shadow worker, people who are meant to be shadow workers, it's part of their mission. We have the ability and the quality within us to pull out those shadows from you, to see those shadows within you, right? I always talk about this when I explain to you guys different missions. So some people work better as activators, as motivators, right? Some people work better as shadow workers. So really find someone who is that shadow worker, right? And shadow work is something that has an end date. And it's really important to know this. For some, it may be few years. For some, it may be 4 years, 5 years. It really depends on your many factors, your dedication, your situation, so on and so forth. But it is something that has an end date. So if you come to me on sessions and we start every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever we establish depending on your situation, you will find that in months you will need those sessions last, because part of shadow worker is to help you integrate all your shadows, heal all your shadows, be mindful of all your shadows, and activate that inner guru that will be able to, you will be in control of your shadows. You will step into the place of your soul, of your true essence, right? So it's not like something that will go on forever, right? If you really have a slow pace, it may be that it's gonna, take good few years, but it has an end date. That's just like therapy, right? The more you do the work, the more you surrender, the more you're willing, the more you come and attend these sessions. And it's especially that, relying only on self-help books or, educational videos, collective videos, it's nice in between. But your shadow worker will tailor your sessions to your needs, to your wounds, to your shadows, to the state of your spirit, right? So extremely important, number one. Number two is something that I find that people sometimes skip step number one and go directly to step number two because we have that urgency. We want quick fixes. We want pills, right? We don't want to hear that we need to do the work, but there's no other way for healing than do the work. Roll up your sleeves, like I said, and do the work. So second step is something that I feel is amazing as a complementary to your shadow work, and it is energy work, especially when you are spiritual and you embark on this journey from a perspective of spirituality, right? So when you come to me on shadow work sessions, for example, you go to different shadow worker, they're going to talk about certain shadows, and we may have different gifts. Like I am energy worker as well. I do cleansings, I do Reiki, I do shamanic healing, but there are certain things that I don't do, right? So I may feel in your energy that you need, that you maybe need a womb priestess, that you maybe need a really deep shamanic cleanse, that you may need to do some past life regression, right? Because on our session I may have a vision, or I may hear that there is a past lifetime that you need to clear out. It's something that I don't do. So energy workers, true energy workers, those shamanic healers, medicine women who really go in there deep to see, to walk you through your past lifetimes, to heal, to do soul recall, whatever is it that you will need, right? That energy work may be needed from time to time. So for some, it's going to be very mild. So energy attunement, something that I do, it may be enough. Some, you may really need to embark on that past life regression and do some clearing, right? So the reason I'm mentioning this, it's a beautiful complementary step. I myself used both when I was doing my healing, and I find that the best solution side by side. Every month I would have, well, shadow work I would have more often, but every month I would in addition have those shamanic healing sessions, and it's something that really resonate with me. So you may resonate more with with Reiki healing or shamanic healing, whatever is it that you resonate, but the deep energy cleanse from time to time. And the reason I'm mentioning this is that a lot of people think that that's maybe not more, that's enough, right? So this is why I want you to understand that it's not, and shadow worker is needed. You cannot fix your wounds by by going to a shamanic healer, Reiki healer only. My universal truth. Unless they're also a shadow worker, and unless they will also sit down with you to have certain conversations and will be able to help you. Why? Because going in a session, when you lay down, go into either on a shamanic journey or just close your eyes, go into deep meditation, and someone does the work on you, it's just not enough. It's sprinkle on top. My universal truth, right? And again, for some people that maybe in this specific lifetime you don't need that deep healing, it may be enough. These sessions may be enough, especially with those medicine women, shamanic healers that also do a little bit of shadow work. So it really, you may combine these two, right? There's going to be shamanic healers that will do shadow work. I myself do some energy work. So do you know what I mean? So sometimes you may find someone that is enough. But I feel like that these two components, when we talk about spiritual healing, deep healing, they really, really need it, because the first one will address what's deeper in your subconscious mind. It will help you think. It will help you be self-aware, to be more conscious of your actions. It will help you to understand the patterns, understand the core woundings, whether that other one will be able to take you on a deep journey that you sometimes may need to really go deeper underneath even that subconscious mind, right? So in my opinion, these two, the perfect combination, right? So we have shadow work, regular sessions of shadow work with a good shadow worker. We have energy healing, shamanic healing, medicine, women healing, whatever is it that you will need on your journey. Again, your shadow worker should be able to tell you what are the things that you need. And the third component, extremely important, understanding that there's a reason they call it work. You have to show up for yourself every day, okay? So let's say you're going to have your shadow work sessions every 3 weeks. Every 6 weeks or every 2 months, you're also going to do some sort of a energy cleanse and energy work, shamanic work, right? If you don't sit with yourself every day, and I'm not joking when I say every day, okay? It might not be, you might skip some days, but on a general level, every day, to contemplate, to journal, to think about everything that you went through on these sessions, you're not going to do much progress, okay? So I recommend always starting that part with journaling, having a journal where you really analyze. I always say this to you guys, journal is sort of a step one channeling. As we journal, as we write, sometimes we really release, and it's like our spirit guides even can speak through us. So journaling, and through connecting to nature. These are these two steps that, in my opinion, incredibly help that self-work, that self-contemplation that you do on a daily basis, right? So you can journal every day. You can really dedicate 10-15 minutes in the morning or before you go to bed, however you prefer, to really think about your day, think about the triggers, think about the emotions, think about your state of being, how you're doing, what transpired, right? What is causing you still that discomfort, that pain. And it's also something that you can then go through with your shadow worker on your sessions. And I find that also connecting with nature, those are the two steps that I always recommend. It really helps you to surrender as well. It really helps you to understand that we're part of a whole, right? That we're part of something bigger, that we are an element of nature. And it really helps connecting in that silent embrace of nature, the sound of nature, whether that's a forest or, somewhere near water, whatever you have available, even a park nearby, to really just, with no distractions, with no noise, with no, just sit down, even if it's just those, either 15 minutes daily, you have a park on your way back home, or maybe you prefer to do this like twice a week or once a week for a few hours, but really connect in with no modern distractions. And this is something that will help you to connect deeper to yourself, right? Then we're going to have plenty of more techniques and exercises that, again, if you go to your shadow worker, that surely they're going to give to you, and surely they're going to tell you how else you can, connect in and other, techniques and spiritual sort of ways. But when it comes to healing, really, I want you to remember there is no bypassing. You will not heal if you come to one session once in your lifetime to get a reading or to get a shamanic clearance or a Reiki clearance. You will not heal if you do that once a year. You will not heal if you don't have an action plan and dedication and consistency with your healing. And granted, that deep healing, that deep release, that walking towards being in your state of light, right? Wanting to achieve Christ consciousness. It's not going to be for everyone, right? Some people, it's not for them in this lifetime, right? And I do have, clients that come to me only once, because it's usually when we transition from physical karma to spiritual karma, that important moment that we all have in our lives, right? To course correct, to say certain things. Or I do have people who aren't really in that deep need, because you will feel it, that this is the lifetime that I need to heal. Not everyone is on that lifetime, not everyone is ready. So some people will need that session one time a year, right? Some people will need that, maybe, a reading of physical karma, spiritual karma once a life, right? And it's okay, but you will know. You will feel it. Usually those of us, we do walk some sort of a path of spirituality, whether you're spiritually aware or you're awakened, something, very important and traumatic that triggers that need for healing. And this is where that need for healing happens. And this is where you basically have to take a decision. Am I going to do it in this lifetime because my higher self send these signs to me that I'm ready? I'm going to prolong this because I'm not ready to have that consistency to really look inwards, right? So you can either prolong that cycle after cycle, or your entire life, and give it a try in the next one. But if you feel that need, if you feel that pull towards, spirituality, deep healing, shadow work, and you really want to heal, you really want to reach that, again, that state of light, that state of soul, when you really thrive in life, right? Deprived of your shadows, of your of uncomfortable emotions, really know how to handle yourself and how to handle your psyche. Those are those first steps that I feel they're crucial, and you have to embark on that journey with a lot of that masculine consistency and that masculine dedication towards yourself and towards your journey. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to sign up for a session, link is in my bio. You can do that through my website. I love you so incredibly much, and I will see you soon.